What up, y'all? I hope you're doing well. We are here for our weekly romance oracle and tarot message. I'm like so emotional still from this full moon and from just all of the things going on in humanity right now. And I just saw the news that David Lynch had died, and he was maybe one of my favorite directors. He directed the series Twin Peaks and then the movies Twin Peaks, Blue Velvet, Mulholland Drive, Fire Walk with Me, Eraserhead. Like, he was a mystic and a master of transcendental meditation and just a good man in this world. So I am sad to see him go. But I'm sure he's going to be with David Bowie. So, Jesus and David Bowie. So, but let's get on with our message. So, we've got passion coming out for our first card. Allow your heart and soul to sing with joy. Now, I don't think that this is just related to our love lives. I think that right now, I think that it's very potent to let your heart feel very deeply all the feelings that are coming up right now. Feelings of sadness for the world, feelings of compassion, feelings of hope. You know, there was some happy tears that I've cried today too. I watched Snoop Dogg on Jimmy Kimmel, and it was very uplifting. But for one, Snoop was saying how he's never... Like, he was like, you know, people, like other states and other places in the world, they have, you know, hurricanes and natural disasters often where they have to, you know, rebuild, like tornadoes and floods and things. And he said he felt like this was the first time that California has really had something like on a mass scale like that. And so he was also commenting on how he said it just has prompted like this awakening for everyone to really come together and put their differences aside and make a difference, is what he said. And I thought that was really great. And also they were talking about how he's got this football camp for kids that he's had since like 2005, so almost 20 years now. And so many of the kids, the underprivileged children that went through his football camps ended up as professional NFL players and have been able to like take their family trajectory out of, you know, poverty. And so I thought that was pretty cool. So just some good news to start. So passion, like even like I feel like my heart is very passionate this week, whether it's, you know, for the sake of like being angry in a justified way for the sake of mankind, whether it's being heartbroken for the sake of mankind, whether it's being determined and to persevere on the sake of mankind. Like everything has been so poignant and potent and intense. And I think it's good to just let that intensity do its thing right now. Honestly, the best thing we can do is really stay present with this moment and let it have its way with us and give it all we've got and let it make its impact and its transformation. So this time of year, there's a 6-week period around the Capricorn season. And so what I mean by Capricorn season is the moon cycle that follows the Capricorn new moon throughout the month. And so this is a period where we might be facing like challenges. I mean, obviously we are all definitely facing challenges, but we are brought these old themes that we, you know, have been going through throughout our lives. And it's like these old things that we maybe thought we had grown past or been awakened, you know, beyond or delivered from and healed from. And so the key is to sort of separate ourselves enough to where we can see our initial reaction to this pain coming up. And then also realize, oh, wow, there's been so much growth in the way that I am meeting this moment now, as opposed to the way I would have been so much more reactive in the past. And so every year during Capricorn season, old patterns, that old devil comes back and, kind of like taunts us again with our, insecurities and fears and weaknesses and certain painful patterns that we've known. And we get a chance to meet them again, but this time from a more elevated consciousness. And so when we do that, that's when, the alchemy happens. That's when we can really transform and transcend our old self and claim, deeper our new higher self. So the key there is to not avoid this intensity and feeling by numbing out or being distracted, but really be with it. And it's like when you go out in a rainstorm and you just let it wash over you. That's what the emotion is doing as we re-meet these situations. So it's like, don't get caught up in the illusion of what's happening. Don't be afraid. Don't be ashamed. Don't get hard down on yourself. But try to meet it with a sense of peace, with a sense that the Creator has always known that this is part of your tikkun process and you're 100% accepted within this. And it's like we're paradoxically perfect just as we are in our imperfection and our dysfunction. And also it's like it's here for us to try to overcome. And so, God is just back there with having our backs, 100% full acceptance and unconditional love. And so the trick for us is to try to avoid feeling shame and doubt and fear and lack, which those are those feelings that separate us from that connection. So there's a lot awakening right now within us. And so it's never a bad thing to get that magnetism going, because that's where the magnet is, in the heart. It's the way that we feel. And so however we're feeling, it's going to indicate things that we're going to be drawing near. So I think that this is good. And, when you feel the emotion, it's like you're digesting it and it's going through you. And the things about it that are nutritious, your soul uses that, just like your body breaks down food. And the parts of that experience that don't really serve you any good or any growth, you can let go of those things. That's the waste of it. But I do think that that's really preparing us to raise our vibration, and that always helps when calling in love and navigating our relationships. Okay. Ooh, give your relationship a chance. So work on your partnership. If you are within a relationship right this second, then perhaps the answer is to double down on your self-work, on your own healing, and don't project that onto the other person. But when you double down on your own growth and trying to search your own self for ways that you can be, the best partner that you can be, so that you can be the most emotionally intelligent person that you can be, and continue to work on that soul development, then if you're with the wrong person and they're not going to grow with you, then it's like they suddenly have this urge to leave you. And it's like you don't even have to wreck yourself about it anymore. It just happens on your behalf. That's what Kabbalah suggests, because the way that Kabbalah perceives and approaches relationships is that basically anyone that you're with at any given moment is there for your soul's growth and development. And so who's to say whether this person is the right person or the wrong person? But you may come to a completion with the work that you have to do together, right? So, if you're not sure if this is definitely something that you need to be leaving and walking away from, then the way to surrender the situation but still make maximum effort is to do everything that you can on your part to have a healthy, functional relationship, and to work on your relationship with self and not put all the need onto the other person. And then just let them calibrate as they do. And if they don't meet your needs, if they don't listen to the communication, if they don't rise to the occasion and work on themselves, either you'll have a very clear and very peaceful solution as to which way you're going, or they will leave you. And that's what happened to me in my last serious relationship I was in. I wasn't really sure, if it was time to leave, or if this was a situation where you push through the difficulty. Because if you leave a relationship before you've healed the thing that is creating the issues, whether or not it's their behavior, there's something in this assignment in this relationship that you have. There's probably several assignments within any given relationship that you have. So if you are if you think that the issue is the relationship and you don't get the depth of the lesson, then when you go to the next relationship, as soon as everything settles down from the initial excitement, the same exact issue is going to come up with that person. So they're going to be the same as your partner, or you're going to have the same relationship dynamic or the same relationship problems. So the grass isn't necessarily greener on the other side. So the best thing to do if you have a relationship that you value and that you don't want to see end necessarily before you give it all you've got, then I would say the way that you leave it all on the dance floor is do the work the best you can, give it your all. And if the Creator does not intend for this relationship to go on any further, then the heaven will help you, and the person will either exit on their own, or you will have a peace about, making that choice. But yes, it's almost like clockwork. If you don't resolve the issue within yourself and within that relationship, or before you move on to another relationship, that issue will come up again. So it's better to look at the issue's sake and separate that from the person themselves, and you might feel differently. Otherwise, I do feel sometimes when I get this card and I'm not in a relationship, then to me, I interpret this, if you're single, as give your relationship a chance, meaning give your dream relationship, your love vision, a chance. Don't settle for someone who's not right for you. Don't settle for someone who doesn't share your love vision. Don't throw in the towel and get back together with an ex because you felt scared that you wouldn't meet anybody else. And so you're going back to the same thing that you had liberated yourself from. Give yourself a chance to have the right relationship, right? There could be someone who has been prepared for you also, and you're both equally yoked and you're coming together soon, but you're just not there yet. And so this person could be closer than you think or sooner than you think. So don't throw in the towel now. Give yourself a chance to really have what you know you deserve and what you've always wanted. Ooh, flirt. Be playful. Extend your lighthearted energy to others. So yeah, open yourself up, be playful with people. If you're attracted to someone, what's the harm in showing it? It's not the end of the world. It doesn't, attention is not intention, right? So don't get too bent out of shape or, overthink it. Just be open and be fun. And you don't have to think of it even as flirtiness being sexually charged. Because I can be flirtatious with, an elderly woman who is you're just having a good time together, playing with people and having a good time and being lighthearted and a little cheeky. And so I think that even if you're not flirting with the person of the object of your affection, say you're in the grocery store and you're having fun with, a person and it's not anything, it's just an innocent little, just being lighthearted. And somebody attractive, notices your energy and they're attracted to it and they decide, oh, that person looks warm and open. I think I'm going to approach them. That person didn't get cast away. you know? I was walking in Kroger tonight with like resting joyful face instead of resting bitch face. I was sort of like thinking about something, and I was like, I had this little smirk to myself. And I vaguely like registered that there was like someone in kind of a fabulous like vintage outfit with a mustache passing by, and I was like, oh wait, what is this? What is this? And he's like looking at me smiling, and I'm like, I was already looking at him smiling, but I was kind of like looking through him, and then it registered like what I was looking at. I was like, oh, and instead of being like, like looking away, like, oh, I wasn't just staring at you, like walking towards you smiling. I just went with it. I locked in. I committed. And that was fun. I could tell it really left an impression on him. So we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll run into him again sometime. But yeah, the grocery store is always a great place for me. You know, I should have taken my time in the cheese section once more because it was there. I was leaving the cheese in the bakery when I saw him. It's a good place to just browse and meander. There's so much cheese to talk about, you know. Romantic feelings. Your feelings are real and worth exploring. So maybe the person that you think is cute thinks that you're cute too. And maybe they just need a little bit of indication that you think that they're a hottie patati also. And that you're open to like them engaging with you. Otherwise, your romantic desires are valid, and so it's worth giving yourself a chance to have those. And so basically, it's like give yourself a chance to have a relationship. You're an impassioned, thriving, vital person. And so get out there, flirt, have a good time, extend your energy, show your interest, right? But these feelings are valid. And let go of control issues is on the bottom of the deck. Just like, don't try to control everything. Don't try to protect yourself so much. Obviously protect yourself, but not so much that you're putting up a wall or that you're keeping people out. Oh, cut the deck and it's release your ex. So it's time to shake off the dust. Like the old timeline is past. And so we are definitely invited to start new stories, new themes, not really go back to the old that we already know doesn't work, that doesn't function, that wasn't right. And so one thing that we have to do is just make that sacrifice, cut those cords and move forward. We have to let go of something in order for something new to come in. And so we have to clear up that energetic space. And so we can't kind of hold on to that as a teddy bear and a comfort blanket until the right thing comes along, because it's like planes trying to land at the airport. And if your gates are all taken up by these energetic placeholders, then there's nowhere for the soulmate to land. So you'll only be flying with Virgin Airlines if you don't open up some gates. You know what I'm saying? So let's get those gates open. All right, so let's get a little bit more insight on passion. This is the tarot of the psychic heart. It's like a relationship themed tarot oracle deck. It's not a full tarot. There's not the face cards, but it's like the pip cards and the major arcana, which I've always liked this a lot, but it's by John Holland. But the artwork is like comforting and cheesy, but the way that they appropriated the cards, I think, is really helpful. So passion and challenging times. 5 of Wands is like a feeling of conflict of interests, conflicting agendas. So maybe, there's just a lot pulling at you in different directions, and you've got a lot of feelings, and there are difficult things happening that are pulling your attention away from your romantic life. And it's like life is just amping up to become more and more complex and tedious and intense and Armageddonous all the time. So we have to be able to navigate and be open to love happening even when we're in the midst of challenges, because otherwise we'll be putting it off until kingdom come. literally. The Messiah will have to come back. So yes, even though these are challenging times and you may be going through like some hard things right now that make it difficult for you to shift your attention into that lovey feeling and that excitement about your love life. So, try to navigate your difficulties the best you can, but don't let it put out your fire, because you deserve love and you deserve good things. And people, like, everybody has their own stuff, right? And that's why you take your time, involving people deeper and deeper into your life. But, don't feel that you can't get in the game at all and participate, right? You just take it a little bit at a time. Enter into the dating world as you can, right? But don't let your hard times and your challenges hold you back and keep you hidden and separate and cut off from love either. So let your passion be reignited. It might help you have the inspiration to move more gracefully through the challenges if you're a little bit more excited. So crown chakra came out with give your relationship a chance. And so our crown chakra is our connection to source. And I think that when we really have a chance to have a healthy relationship, it's when our crown chakra, when our connection with God, with our personal connection is so strong, that's where we get our validation from. That's where we get our confidence from. That's where we get our feeling of, that's where we fill our love tank, right? So it makes us not really needy for a relationship. Over the past few years, I've been single, and I've been open to love and wanting my soulmate, but I'm not like needy for it. I've had a stronger relationship with God, and I've been, really just like focusing on my own healing and spirituality. And I don't think I'm like shut off to someone coming in, but also I'm wanting to meet someone who's a really good match. And so I'm not just gonna throw in the towel, but it's easier to make good choices for myself, or it's getting easier to make those good choices or pass or on something that's not aligned, because I'm not needing to fill a void, right? And so because my fulfillment, the real fulfillment, comes from source. And so when we can see that that is the case, we're no longer distracted by the illusion of the vessel. And so when we don't need the vessel itself, when we understand that our true fulfillment comes from the light within the vessel, then we're safe to have the vessel, because we're not like needy, and it doesn't make someone, revolted because they have this underlying sense that you're going to grab on for dear life and not let go. Stage 5 clinger, you know what I'm saying? So also having your crown chakra open makes you open to divine inspiration, which might guide you towards your soulmate, doing the activities or going to the place where they might be, or, feeling like you have clarity when you meet people who are aligned with you or that aren't. It takes a while getting to know someone and starting to date them before you know how compatible you are. You can't really make these choices in the heat of the moment. I think that's, where our impulsiveness got the better of us in our younger, lesser wise days. So we need to take our time to get past that initial romance and magic and all of that, and be able to get to know someone over time and hear that divine inspiration. Okay, is this person showing you that they are also wanting the same things and can grow parallel to you, right? Do they share your beliefs? Is it a person where you can spiritually grow together? All right, let's get a little bit more information on, and then I also just got that with the crown chakra, again, like giving your relationship a chance, pray. That is one of the things that I pray nightly for, is that I will be prepared for my soulmate, and that my soulmate will be prepared for me, and that they will come into my life at the right time, and that in the meantime I will understand what is required for me to merit that level of a relationship. Becoming, the best woman and the best romantic partner and all of that I can be, right? So bringing that request into your prayer practice will help a lot. Okay, under flirt, we've got listen to your heart. It is waiting for you. This is the high priestess. So again, what do we do? What goes hand in hand with prayer? Meditation and listening. So pray for guidance. Pray for guidance before you go to bed, that you will be guided within your dreams. Listen to that inner voice. So many times, this little whisper where it will wave a little red flag, probably shouldn't go there. And we're like, shh. And she's like, Molly, you in danger, girl. And you're like, no, it'll be fine. This is fun. And she's like, listen to that voice, because it'll guide you and it can save you a lot of time and a lot of heartache. But when you start trusting that inner voice, it helps you build trust with yourself, because you're not just blindly trusting other people. It's like when you heal your trust issues, it doesn't mean that you're like, okay, I'm going to go out and be trusting to everybody again. I'm healed. It's like when you heal your trust issues, it means that you can be discerning on who you trust and how quickly you put that trust in people, because trust is earned over time. And so it can fluctuate. So we start to listen to that inner voice. And when we act upon that guidance, it builds trust with our trust muscle with God, with spirit. It helps us build trust within ourselves, because we can keep boundaries with ourselves and others. And it helps others trust us as well. Because what I have seen, and I've seen this with my own two eyes, is that I have seen a person who's so squeaky clean and innocent and wholesome and nice and pure be almost so nice and accommodating and pure with people that it makes them hard to trust, because they can be manipulated so easily. So I know that many of us with a tikkun of overgiving and oversharing, especially if you have prominent Libra placements in your chart, it's like your kindness and your generosity and your tendency to love and give love and show love and be, want to help people and be empathic and to make sure everybody's taken care of. Sometimes that can get the better of us. And so it can give us weak boundaries, which makes it hard for people to trust us. Even though they may not see us as a shady type of person, they see that we don't have the strength to say no when we need to say no. So developing your instincts and that inner voice as you get out there and flirt, right? It's like you put a little toe in the water, see what kind of energy you're getting, and then your intuition will weigh in. And let's see, romantic feelings. I don't want to take my Christmas tree down yet. I like to keep it up through January because it warms up the space, but I can feel that it's starting to get into the season of the tree going. It's like once that brightness of the hope of spring starts coming back, like when we get on the other side of winter and the days are growing brighter again. Like I don't want the Christmas tree as much anymore, but like during that dark time of the fall and of the early winter, it's like, it really warms the space. Okay, so romantic feelings, your feelings are real and worth exploring, but we also got daydreams and decisions, which is 7 of Cups, which has to do with exploring your options and daydreaming and like actively imagining and envisioning, but it can also like slip into fantasy, illusion, getting caught up in the overwhelm of indecision, When someone wants to keep their options open forever and it's like, oh, okay, so if you're out there and you're exploring your romantic feelings, from what I hear, there's a lot of people now who are avoidant to commitment because there's so many options in those dating apps and stuff. And so we're almost like always feeling like fear of making a choice because it feels like we're shutting off all of our other options. Now, I haven't been on a dating app yet. So I know that I feel this even in life. Sometimes it feels like there's either no options or there's like a few at the same time and you're like, oh, which one? But don't keep yourself out of the game forever because you can't make a decision. And also don't let someone give you the runaround forever because they can't make a decision. One of the things that Matthew Hussey teaches about that is so great, such a great concept, he has this book, Love Life. I'm going to grab it and show you guys. But in this book, Love Life, order this book by Matthew Hussey. It's so good. It's about like loving your own life as you navigate being single and approaching relational intelligence and making good decisions for yourself in love. This book really exposes a lot of the things that keep us circling around in those fruitless pursuits and those dead-end sort of things, and it highlights to us, okay, this is how we can really get clear on what we want and what's not really in alignment for us. But in this book, Love Life, Matthew Hussey talks about the fact that intention or attention does not equal intention. So, when we're when it's like your romantic feelings are valid, your needs are valid, and someone is breadcrumbing you because they like the attention that you're giving them and they're giving you attention, it doesn't necessarily mean that there's any intention there. And how many women do we all know? We all know, and we've all been there at some point with someone who kind of got high on our attention for however long and never had any intention. And when we finally woke up and saw that, we realized how much time and energy we had wasted on someone who was essentially just coming and filling up their tank. Basically coming in, snacking on our energy and leaving with no intention of ever making anything out of it. So I think this is just staying true, first and foremost, to ourselves, realizing that we deserve a relationship, we deserve love, our feelings are valid, we are passionate, thriving individuals with so much love to give. But we're going to listen to our instincts, and we're going to, as we're exploring our options and suitors in this new love cycle, we're going to get really emotionally sober when we're looking at our candidates. And we're not going to let our emotions cloud our judgment. They have to have both, right? We have to have feelings, and there has to be reasonable criteria that supports this as a viable option, right? We have to have core compatibility, alignment with values, like really get clear on this person you're calling in. And if individuals don't hold up against this criteria, then it doesn't matter what your feelings are, they're not compatible with you anyway. So that helps you rule out some of those options and be less overwhelming. So I hope that serves y'all well. I hope that we have a beautiful new love coming in soon. But what we have now is a beautiful love with ourselves and with our higher power. And that is more than enough to keep us warm as we get snuggly and cozy and wind down for the evening. I'm about to get into some cheese, y'all. I found a variety of blue cheese that I haven't tried yet. I can't remember the name. They did not have the blue Stilton that I really like. Blue Stilton is very creamy. It has a mild cavey flavor, but not overly pungent. and it tastes really like very creamy and velvety with like red wine. So one of my blue cheeses, and then the other cheese, let's see, what else do I have? I have a little bit of white cheddar with cranberry left, and then I'm gonna bust open my Gloucester. I'm probably saying that wrong. Gloucester, the Gloucester cheddar pub cheese with chives. It's a really good one. It's a soft, sharp cheddar with like green chives in it. So I like to chop them up into tiny little pieces and nibble. So pretty excited about that. All right, y'all. I'll see you tomorrow for our weekend reflection message. So we'll see how that goes. Bye. Ciao.